starting to get a little crowded around here, boss.
Let us know if you need supplies.
Please landing zone.
Roger. This is Pequod. Arriving shortly at LZ. This is Pequod. On station at LZ.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
Boss, I've been meaning to tell you something. Our old friend Zero hasn't been seen in public since you left the States. That was over 10 years ago now. You suspected he was responsible for the accident at your base in the Caribbean, but at that point, Zero was already bedridden, so it never felt right to me that Zero gave the order. Now that I've seen the man Emmerich was working for, I'm sure he didn't. I know that man. He was our old friend's XO. A man without a face. Not one you want to look at anyway. Skullface. He's the one who destroyed your base 9 years ago. The unit he commands, XOF, was Cypher's strike force, but he's since split from Zero and used XOF to usurp control over Cypher itself. In other words, the Cypher we're hunting isn't Zero. Beyond Zero is a void that's even darker. Skullface.
It wasn't just Cypher. Back in the Caribbean, every eye in the world was turned on us. A private army, just a bunch of guys with guns, in possession of a nuke? Why wouldn't they be uncomfortable?
And that's why you made sure the inspection happened.
Well, I thought our best move was to prove to the UN through the IAEA that we had no nuke. Of course, I was against us having it in the first place, but that was Snake's decision.
The boss wasn't responsible.
Well, don't get me wrong, I still believed in Snake. I thought I was making the best decision for all of us, that's all. I figured we should get a third party to exonerate us before proof of the nuke did get out. And who better to do that than an organization with international authority?
So the truth is, you took it upon yourself to agree to an inspection arranged by the UN. Only the inspection was a ruse, and Cypher's strike force, XOF, showed up instead.
I had no idea that would happen.
Enough bullshit!
Oh, sure, like I could have known. You know, I was just trying to prove our innocence to the world. What's wrong with that?
We're not interested in the excuses you've thought up. The truth is objective.
Just see it from my point of view.
You led XOF to the control tower. They seized it, giving them complete control over the base. Moments later, they detonated C4 on the strut legs. Anyone who'd managed to survive was hunted down by the assault force and their choppers.
You can't believe I did that on purpose.
That was the end of Mother Base. But it wasn't the end for you.
How can you... Look, think about it. I lost something too. I built Zeke and it got buried underwater. I am a victim.
That raises the big questions. Why were you the only one spared? You got away without a scratch. Why did Strangelove leave the base on the eve of the inspection? You two were close.
Strangelove?
And how did you manage to build something that surpasses Zeke in every way? Because you did everything they told you. You're the only one who didn't lose a thing. That is the truth.
I was taken away against my will. Skullface forced me to do his research these past 9 years. He used me. I lost 9 years.
9 years. We all lost 9 years. It wasn't just you.
I suppose blaming me makes you feel better, does it? But who's gonna give me back all the time I lost?
You're not getting anything back.
You're not a victim here, Emmerich. You're the perpetrator.
I didn't know anything.
Nobody can back that up.
Yeah, all the evidence is at the bottom of the ocean.
You know the hardest man to break. The type who's fooling himself. That takes time. It's easier to live a convenient lie than a painful truth. Is that the piece you've chosen, Doc?
I'm not lying.
Of course. Just let me check one or two things. On that day, you were in the control tower with them. Lucky you. That's how you got out unscathed. And you escaped on one of their choppers. Only you, right before the base went under.
They had me blindfolded the whole time. I've never been so scared. The whole flight, I thought they'd kill me. But thinking of you kept me going. My comrades, all the way.
And?
There was a plane journey, and then we traveled by road. When they finally took off the blindfold, I was in kind of a warehouse, on the floor. Afghanistan, it was that research lab. I couldn't believe they'd taken me halfway around the world. And soon enough, he came.
Skullface.
He's the one who's really behind that Mother Base attack. He forced me into that research.
What kind of research?
He told me to build a bipedal walking tank for the Soviet Union. Like Peace Walker. A system that could fire an ICBM-class nuclear weapon. That's how the Sahelanthropus project got started.
Sahelanthropus.
Those AI weapons I'd made in Costa Rica were like toys by comparison. A whole world apart from reptilian four-legged crawling and that ridiculous hunched-over bipedal waddling. My design evolved to the dawn of mankind. Sahelanthropus, the first steps towards humanity. an upright bipedal weapon system. Originally, Sahelanthropus was going to be a manned weapons platform. I designed a cockpit in its head, and I planned to fill it with water as a buffering agent.
Like how Paz modified Zeke for human control.
Don't compare me to some amateur. I designed it for human control from the beginning. The problem was miniaturizing the posture control AI. You remember the reptile pod?
The AI that controlled your unmanned weapons.
Attaching it externally makes it vulnerable, so this time I wanted it beneath the armor. Meaning I had to make the AI smaller. I got it down to less than 1/10 the size without any loss in computation speed. But it was still too big for the cockpit. There wasn't enough room for the pilot. If I made the head bigger, its body would have to be bigger to support it. Too big to be practical. In the end, human piloting was taken off the table. I tested a remote control system too, but there was the time lag and I wasn't satisfied with its precision either. Plus, it would be useless if the enemy jammed it. So next, I went back to trying an AI-only system. To do that, I had the AI pods recovered from Nicaragua. This was a hybrid AI, a combination of Peace Walker's reptile and mammal pods. The only AIs that had ever successfully operated an unmanned nuclear weapon system.
Really? You'd need some help to get that working. Expert help. Did you work with someone?
I worked alone.
You did that yourself?
That's the thing. The AI didn't pan out in the end either. But I did finally get Sahelanthropus walking by folding over its upper body to lower its center of gravity. The first upright bipedal locomotive weapon system in the history of mankind. I guess technically it falls into the anthropoid ape category.
I don't see the benefit of having it stand taller.
On terrain with significant differences in elevation like Afghanistan, you need a body that's vertically adaptable. That also lets it attack from long range while using mountain ridges for cover. So, making it walk upright was the most important factor in giving it superior height capability. As the name suggests, that was the whole point of Sahelanthropus. But I was being pushed for results. Having the AI mounted externally would have been the fastest way to get it working. I just needed more data so it could maintain its balance. But Skullface refused to wait. He dismissed the idea of AI control and took Sahelanthropus away from me before I could finish it.
But it was walking when it came after you.
That's just it. I don't understand how Skullface got it to move upright, without a pilot or an AI. And walking at that speed, too. It's beyond anything I could have imagined. This is like the Wright brothers making it to the moon. I'm just as clueless as you are.
So this Sahelanthropus, where is it now?
I have no idea. All my experiments took place at that cave. I've never seen it anywhere else. Besides, it's still just an incomplete prototype at this point, and nothing but a paper tiger. Even if it can walk, it's far from being a viable weapons platform. It wouldn't be useful in actual battle.
Emmerich will remain here at Mother Base for now, but not as a member of Diamond Dogs. I still don't trust him. That work for you? Fine by me. He can't be allowed any contact with staff either. Yeah. A lot of the guys would love some payback for 9 years ago. We still need him alive. But we have to restrict his movements. He can only go where we tell him. And of course, the interrogations will continue. He worked for that skull bastard for nearly a decade. He still has more to tell us. How long are we gonna press him? If our investigation shows he really had nothing to do with the attack, we'll reconsider his place here. But I don't expect that to happen. Remember that water tank-shaped object in Emmerich's lab in the Soviet base camp? The thing that started talking to you like a possessed answering machine. That was a pod built for housing the AI used to control unmanned weapons. You remember, back in '74 in Costa Rica. It was in those machines you fought there. They were designated Pupa, Chrysalis, Cocoon, and Basilisk, and each of them was fitted with an AI unit called a reptile pod. Emmerich created it. It mainly handled the machine's posture control and autonomous behavior. But the Basilisk, aka Peace Walker, also featured a second AI pod. That one was called the Mammal Pod, and it was created by Dr. Strangelove. She tried to recreate the boss's personality through the Mammal Pod, but you pulled out its memory boards. That's when it transferred its own functions to its reptile pod. Just like a human brain compensating for damage by using the remaining healthy parts. The result was a unique entity. A hybrid of the reptile and the mammal. It sank to the bottom of Lake Nicaragua with Peace Walker. But apparently they salvaged it and transported it to that lab. Don't let it deceive you, Snake. It may sound like the boss, but it has neither a personality nor a will. Like Emmerich says, it's just a machine.
Weather will clear shortly. Select a mission.
Target is Angolas Mfinda oil field, upstream from the landing point. A spill has covered the whole area and crude. A pipeline that crosses the Muneni River failed, and now the shore's a mess. Not to mention the villages downstream have no drinking water. To the pipeline from that facility. Taking it out should end the leak. The client this time is an environmental NGO. Destroy the facility. Stop that leak. This may seem like straight-up philanthropy, but there's another reason we agreed to it. The Mfinda oil field was outdated, abandoned. Then the rebel group UNITA moved in, taking it upon themselves to kickstart operations. UNITA's been rapidly modernizing its arsenal. Rumor has it someone's been selling them U.S. military hardware. Intel's analysis suggests the broker's a front company, Cyphers. Keeping tabs on UNITA could tell us who's pulling its strings. It's to the north, past Wala Yamasa. The village is currently occupied by UNITA, so stay sharp. The war industry we started has taken a pretty crooked course these past 9 years. With no other options, soldiers have become dogs of war, sent to conflict zones as private forces, or PFs. Guys we fought alongside are dying all around the globe for no reason, no banner. But it's how they survive. The demand for PFs here in Africa is especially high. You've arrived at Masa Village. It's been turned into a supply hub for UNITA, meaning it'll be stocked with weapons and resources. Should be a thing or two that'll come in handy. Don't be shy. They deserve to be in better hands.
The map has been updated. Caution, rain approaching.
Moet eens kyk. Talk. Ek praat nie Engels nie. Laat my gaan.
The PF soldiers are speaking Afrikaans, an official language of the Republic of South Africa. Boss, we're gonna need someone with the Afrikaans interpreter skill to understand what they're saying. We'll look into it here, but for now, you'll just have to make do without one. You gonna extract him? Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Good.
Analysis complete.
Children. Child soldiers. Children there are abducted and trained to be soldiers.
Analysis complete.
They're only taught to fight. And one day they grow up and teach the next generation the same way. With a gun in his hands, a kid is as dangerous as any adult. Only they don't know a thing about right and wrong. Boss, do not hurt any child soldiers. If you do, the mission is over.
Get up! Wel, ons het geschiet nou!
Check dit, Delta 4. Aanval! Geen dingen van vijand.
Rain. Sound of rainfall should help to mask your footsteps. He's coming too. Roger that.
A child has died.
Sip jy, dis Delta 9. Ons het die hele area gefynkamp, maar niks gekry nie. Dit soek tog opgeskort.
Boss, you killed a child. I'm aborting this mission.
Boss, destroy the oil facility and stop the flow of oil. Head north through the village, and you'll find the facility further on. You've arrived at Masa Village. It's been turned into a supply hub for UNITA, meaning it'll be stocked with weapons and resources. Should be a thing or two that'll come in handy. Don't be shy. They deserve to be in better hands.
The map has been updated. Caution, rain approaching.
Hey, pal. Wat gaan aan?
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Good. Good. Ik wil niet, prik niet.
Ship is Delta 3. Was een onbekende wapenvuur. Positie onbekend. Over.
You've made it past the village. Continue heading for the oil facility. It's located upriver.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
The Vinda oil field is the property of Saner, South African Natural Resources. Saner drills oil wells wherever they can throughout that region. And when the oil dries up, they abandon the facility. Then it's only a matter of time before the aging equipment starts leaking crude. That means United's takeover is the perfect cover for Saner. Now they can blame the spill on a bunch of oil thieves. However you look at it, Saner's far from squeaky clean.
Edie.
There it is, the oil facility. To stop the leak, you need to shut down the oil transfer pump and destroy the oily water separator tank. The details are on your iDroid.
Complete. Analysis complete. Analysis complete.
Ozzy. We handen gecontact! Is hij oké?
Analysis complete.
You gotta extract him.
Analysis complete.
Good, boss. Attacking like that won't cut it. Aim somewhere else. Or change to a different weapon.
Zulu 4. Wat ja? Zulu 4 vast verkeerd. Kom aan, Zulu 4. Wat is de situatie? Alle eenheden staan bij.
Clouds approaching.
Alles gespannen, de Cyprië. Alle eenheden, naar ons positie. Alle eenheden, naar ons positie.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. He's coming too. Roger that.
Back to her!
You gotta extract him. You destroyed their anti-air radar? It wasn't one of the targets, but that's put a hole in their air surveillance. The chopper will be able to get in close now. You can designate a landing zone near the outpost. separator tank. You'll need to use explosives. Got any C4? Alright, you planted the C4. Don't set it off until you're at a safe distance.
CFD Zulu 4. Zag verloren vijand. Gebied laatste punt van contact. Oor. CFD is begrijp. Onderzoek die area. Maar blijf op je hoede. Uit.
Good. You're away from the C4. Any sign of the enemy? Careful. Transfer pump. You need to shut it down.
Point. Extraction arrived at Mother Base. Strike requested. Strike will commence shortly.
Good. You're away from the tank. Once it goes up, the enemy will come running. Secure the area before you detonate the C4.
CFD Zulu 4. In dit geval in die punten. Geen teken van die vijand. Oor. CFD is begrijp. Eerst waakzaam in. Ready veiligheid. Uit.
There's the transfer pump control room. The emergency stop button. Bodies. Why? Oil transfer pump shut-off confirmed. Objectives complete. But the enemy has tightened security. Get out of there ASAP.
Please select a landing zone. Please support helicopter
Roger.
requested.
Squad. Arriving shortly at LZ. Alles gespannt, das steht hier. Fokus alles in auf die Helikopter. This is B-Quad. Have arrived at LZ. Will stand by.
Outpost captured.
Gonna rescue the kid, boss. All right, we'll take care of subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Project is being added.
All right, mission complete, boss. Maybe you'll actually break a sweat next time, huh? Boss. Hey! Snake! I've customized a walker gear just for you. It features a silent running system, great for infiltration missions, and you can also summon it to your location. I've taken the liberty of calling it the D-Walker. It's armed with a suppressed tranquilizer gun. If you want to add other weaponry or upgrade the chassis, give the order from your iDroid.
Side ops list updated.
Boss, I've updated the mission list.
List updated.
We've received a new job offer. It doesn't seem connected to Cypher or Skullface at all. But if it goes well, we may get an Afrikaans interpreter. The details are on your iDroid.
Clouds approaching. Please specify a project. Please specify a project. Please select a mission. Mission accepted.
British CFA officials are being held by their Afrikaner colleagues. One of these prisoners is the rescue target, a guy known as the Viscount. The target's location is unknown. They're bound to have an interpreter present when they interrogate him. We've used info from the intel unit to predict the interpreter's location. It's on your iDroid. Follow the interpreter and extract the target when you find him.
Analysis complete.
That's not the target. Orders are only the Viscount gets rescued. Can't understand why he'd receive special treatment, but I don't imagine it'll be a problem to save the other prisoners too. If you're going to use a weapon, be careful not to draw the enemy's attention.
The map has been updated.
That prisoner you extracted wasn't the target, but we did get some information. Seems the prisoners aren't held together, and the cells and interrogation rooms are separate places. Doesn't show up, they won't be able to interrogate anyone. Then they'll just kill the target. If you run into trouble, give us a call. We may be able to offer some advice. You won't be able to follow the interpreter anymore. You'll have to find the target on your own. Boss. Well, we'll just have to interrogate him to find out where the target is.
Analysis complete.
Good.
Boss,
map has been
we got the
updated.
interrogation location out of the interpreter. He also said it will begin at night. They'll be starting any time now. Hurry. Interrogate him. Find out what he knows.
Complete.
Hands up. Muniskitten.
Where are your friends?
Was sehen.
Alfred Collins is the lingua franca for mercs in that area. If you're going to get any information from interrogations, you'll need an interpreter.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base. Analysis complete.
So, our rescue target was behind some kind of plot. Boss, I did some digging, and it seems the target himself gave us this mission through a representative. That prisoner wasn't the target either. We got some more information, though. They're going to interrogate the target at night.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base. Development. Extraction arrived at Mother Base. Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated. Analysis complete.
You called that thing Sahelanthropus. Where does the name come from?
Well, several years ago, an excavation team discovered a hominid skull in the Sahel region.
Central Africa. The Southern Sahara.
Cypher gave the specimen the name Sahelanthropus, Man of Sahel. And then they covered the whole thing up.
Why?
They probably wanted to monopolize information about human evolution to have a head start in their genetic research. At least, until they had an idea of what they'd found.
It was that big of a discovery, huh?
Sahelanthropus was a gracile hominid, estimated to have lived about 7 million years ago. What's significant about it is how its skull's foramen magnum faces down. In other words, its spinal column supported its head from underneath.
It stood upright.
Right. Which would mean Sahelanthropus walked upright 3 million years before Australopithecus, making it the world's oldest human species.
Walking upright. I get it. Hence the name Sahelanthropus for your machine.
Good God.
Walking upright was the decisive difference between our ancestors and other anthropoids. Our brains could get heavier once they were supported by the spinal column. That led to the use of tools and the development of complex communication through language. Only man is capable of this. My creation will be the progenitor of all bipedal weapon platforms.
And you did this for Cypher.
No, not at all. Sahelanthropus is the best proof that I never betrayed you guys.
What do you mean?
The reconstructed Sahelanthropus skull looked exactly like the skull we used as our logo 9 years ago in the Caribbean.
An army without a nation. Outside the world order.
The design was based on Pangaea, the supercontinent that existed 250 million years ago, right?
Yeah. When the world was a single landmass. That concept's at the source of our strength.
I felt the same way about Sahelanthropus. Sure, I was forced to build it under their orders, but I always wanted to put its technology back in our hands someday. That's the reason I incorporated the old insignia into Sahelanthropus's name. Don't you see? That's how much I was thinking about you guys.
Oh, I see, all right. I see someone desperate to cover his ass. You can say whatever you want after the fact. But that skull also symbolizes somebody else. Skullface.
Snake, you finally came. Just don't record this, okay?
Not recording anything. What's this about?
What I'm about to say stays between you and me. It's about the weapon to surpass Metal Gear. Do you know a researcher by the name of Clark? He works in the biotech industry, real advanced stuff. His area is bioengineering, but lately he's also gotten into genetic research.
Never heard of him.
Well then, what do you know about cloning?
I think I've heard enough.
Hold on, this is important. Cloning lets you create a genetic copy of an organism. You take the nucleus of one of its cells, and you swap it with the nucleus of an unfertilized egg from another member of the same species. They started out working with plants, but since then they've had success with other organisms, including mammals. It's a hot area for a lot of places right now. Corporations, universities, research groups. There's no shortage of scientists out to get famous and patent their work, with morality taking a back seat.
Isn't that a little outside your field?
It's got nothing to do with my research. But I thought it might be of interest to you. Cloning, and Dr. Clark, I mean.
Go on.
Now, this is really highly classified stuff. But I've heard that an American biotech company has successfully cloned a human being. What's more, it happened over 10 years ago. And the researcher behind it was Dr. Clark. You've really never heard of him?
I don't need many doctors.
This Dr. Clark is a complete ghost, even to others in his field. His age, where he comes from, that might not be his real name. And I can't even say for sure he's a he. Clark's employer, ATGC, its company motto is embracing your hopes, preserving talent.
What does this have to do with me?
Cypher. Dr. Clark works for ATGC, and they have connections to DARPA. Cypher couldn't function without the communications network DARPA's built. Meaning, Cypher has to be a part of the Pentagon. Or at least, the two are joined at the hip. DARPA is a driving force behind human cloning. It's a pretty high priority project for them. And this Dr. Clark, some say he's a pivotal player in Cypher. But that's not all. Every cell nucleus in an organism contains the genetic information for that organism. Think of it as a blueprint for life. Clark appears to be working on how to decode this information and rearrange it at will. If you could do that, it would mean being able to custom design human beings for specific purposes. Can you believe that? Suppose for a moment that this is all fact. A man of your talents, if your genetic information died with you, that would be a terrible loss for mankind. But what if mankind could preserve you for future generations by cloning you?
All right, enough. I get the idea.
Look, I know it's inductive reasoning, but this weapon to surpass Metal Gear they're developing in Africa, I believe it's something that uses this new technology. Speaking as a fellow scientist, it chills me to the bone.
That's rich coming from you.
If genes serve as our blueprint, then I wonder if they include an impulse that drives us to tweak the design. Can you imagine that? Genes encoded with information that wants its children to decode it. Is life itself putting the direction of our next evolution in the hands of scientists? I guess it would take some real arrogance to believe that. And yet, it could be what Cypher's after.
I think you're barking up the wrong tree. But that was an interesting story. It'd make a good movie.
You have to believe me.
Where'd you hear all this anyway?
Where? I just overheard it in bits and pieces while I was forced to do that research for them.
Right.
Wait a minute. Look, I want to help you. I want to be of service here. I'm risking my life with this.
Is that so? Maybe it's time we brought someone else into the conversation.
No, not him. Not Ocelot. You can't do this.
Check indoors. There may be clues regarding the target's whereabouts.
The map has been updated. Sun will rise momentarily.
Good dog.
Analysis complete.
CP is Delta 6. Tekens van vijandige activiteit. Beskerm securiteit. Over. De CP begrijpt. Bespied die omgeving. Uit.
Analysis complete. Analysis complete.
Good. Good. Go!
This is a list of prisoner detainment locations.
The map has been updated. Analysis complete.
This most recent prisoner wasn't the target either, but we did learn the target's field of movement.
stick.
Where are your friends? Spit it out.
Analysis, plant extraction arrived at Mother Base.
Where are the others? Talk. Talk.
The map has been updated.
Hands up.
Money. Alsjeblieft. Money te doen.
Caution, rain approaching. Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
Good dog.
Target extraction confirmed. Get yourself out of the hot zone. By chopper or by land. It's your choice.
Mission info has been updated. The map has been updated. Please support helicopter
Roger.
requested.
Zeepje, de Zulu 4. Jouw van ons mannen is uitgevat. Oor. Er is CP, begrijp. Het kan een vijandige aanval wees. Allieneerde, vakker wees. Uit. Zeepje, de Zulu 1. Zulu 1, wat verkeerd? This is B-Quad. Zulu 1. Arriving shortly at LZ.
Good dog. Good dog.
Wat is de situatie? Allieneerde, staan bij. This is B-Quad. On station at LZ. Zeepje, de Zulu 1. De CP, begrijp. Heading out. Stop the way.
construction arrived at Mother Base. Development project has been added.
All right, mission complete, boss. Maybe you'll actually break a sweat next time, huh? Boss. Boss, one of the latest missions to come in is connected to the Walker Gears. This could be our chance to close in on Cypher. Take a look at your mission list.
Development complete.
Hard to believe how many of those bipedal weapons have popped up around Africa. When did that start? No more than 6 months ago. Didn't really hit me until I came here. They're not supposed to be in use yet. Emmerich says they were still doing the last round of fine-tuning. The doctor has no idea. His research has already hit the black market. Both sides of the Iron Curtain will have it by now. Even so, they're spreading much too fast. Sure, the Walker Gears can operate in any terrain. Their mobility's just as good in the jungle as it is in the desert. That would come in handy in a place like Africa. They are modules that can one day be used as nuclear weapon systems. And with that in mind, the numbers are way too large. There must be another reason they're so widespread. Like what? It's all about needs. To small-time outfits like most of these private forces, this product is a dream come true. Hell, it goes beyond PFs. This is the ultimate weapon, the forbidden fruit. For anyone with an enemy to fight and people to defend. The nuclear deterrent. Exactly. Sounds familiar, huh? PFs are all operating off your playbook. You created these times. But could this be the new weapon in Africa that Emmerich talked about? If it is, why is Cypher letting everyone and his brother get their hands on one? What comes next? Selling nuclear weapons in the open? Making them public property? Why don't they give that a try? Then the next war really will be fought with sticks. Right. The man we're dealing with isn't foolish enough to make a suicide pact with the world. So, what is Cypher really up to?
Please select a landing zone.
Boss, I need to talk to you about this. Quiet. Can you meet me at her cell here on the base? Whenever's fine. Thanks.
Analysis complete.
Attack! Buddy! Protect!
Outpost captured.
We've heard there's an Afrikaans English interpreter operating somewhere in that area. If you extract him, it could be plenty useful for us.
Arrived at Mother Base. Analysis
That's the
complete.
target.
Analysis complete. Enemy presence detected. Map has been updated. Analysis complete.
Schieß am Mann!
Stay.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Opnieuw! Vrijheid!
Where are your friends? Spit it out.
The map has been updated. Extraction arrived at Mother Base. The map has been updated. Side ops list updated.
You gonna extract him?
Extraction arrived at Mother Base. Please select a mission. Mission accepted. The map has been updated. Extraction arrived at Mother Base. Analysis complete. Analysis complete.
Get him!
Analysis complete. Analysis complete. Analysis complete. Analysis complete. Guard post captured.
He's coming too. Roger that. You gonna extract him?
Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
Boss, this contract comes from the People's Movement for the Liberation of Angola, also known as the MPLA. The PF at Ditadi Abandoned Village has been supplied with walker gears. Your job is to eliminate them all. Destroy them, extract them, whatever you see fit. This just might get us closer to the walker gear supplier, Cypher. Good luck, boss.
Please select a strike point. Strike requested. Strike will commence shortly. Enemy creep detected.
Another one down. Now for the next. The targets have been deployed to that outpost. Find and eliminate all of them.
Wees waakzaam en rijd die vijand uit. Uit.
Please select a strike point. Strike requested. Strike analysis complete.
Great. No targets remaining. Your objective's complete. Exfiltrate out of the hot zone by chopper or on land.
Je bent een soort twee. Het is ongeval, maar kan je die vijand zien? Oor. Er is geen meer, begrijp. Wees waakzaam en rijd die vijand uit. Uit.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
Okay, subject is in.
Zulu 4 was verkeerd. Kom in, Zulu 4. Wat is de situatie? Alle eenheden staan bij. CP is Zulu 4. Wat eenheid zo is goed. Vijandige aanval. Moeilijk. Zulu 4 is begrijp. Dit is wachtzaam in. Uit.
Batsam! Handgranaat! Contact! Contact!
Alles geht sneller, das steht hier. Was wordt het allemaal? Alle eenheden beschermen je positie.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Die basis des Wassers, Radionetwerk is af. Er is geen manier om de bel van de versterkers van alle buitenbossen af te nemen. In huis met wat je hebt.
Roger.
Arriving shortly at LZ. Speed lost the punt van contact. Over. De CP is begrepen. Onderzoek die area. Have arrived at LZ. Will stand by.
Support helicopter has arrived.
Alright, you're out of the hot zone.
Project.
No enemy forces in pursuit. Mission complete.
Departing.
Subject on board.
Extraction
Leave the rest to us.
of Mother Base. Development project has been added.
Alright, mission complete, boss. Maybe you'll actually break a sweat next time, huh? Boss. Boss, the
updated.
intel team has come back with its report following its investigation into PF Logistics. Cypher has to be involved with this distribution network somehow.
Please select
One
a
thing in
mission.
particular caught my eye. A convoy that regularly crosses the Savannah. On paper, it's just mined resources going to the government, but the security's much too heavy. At the very least, it's worth checking out. Take a look at the mission.
Unit dispatched.
Boss, Quiet still hasn't made any moves. It's got me thinking.
What?
If you took her on a mission, she might break her silence.
You want to let her out?
Sure. Make her no different to the others. Everyone you pick up works for themselves, right?
But her...
I say work with her. See what happens. I wouldn't ask this of anyone but you. On missions, I'll make sure we have someone observing from a distance, and she won't be allowed access to all of the base. As for Miller, well, sometimes it's better to ask forgiveness than permission. The best part is, hiding is her specialty. If no one sees her leave the base, the staff will be none the wiser.
And if she gets away?
If that happens, you'll have to take care of her. But I have faith in you, boss. I think Quiet sees something in you.
It's a big risk.
But it's for the good of all of us. And besides, you can't deny her talent. Her unique skills and abilities would give you a hell of an edge out there.
I'll think it over.
How long are we gonna keep that woman here?
You mean Quiet?
My personal feelings aside, she's putting everybody on edge. You should hear the stories. I got sick from just standing guard at her cell. I won't stand on the same platform as that witch. She hit me for no reason.
What is this, a private army or a kindergarten?
The thing is, they're all serious. They're faced with something they don't understand, and a kind of mass hysteria has broken out. I've gotten wind of countless plots to take her out.
There are no grounds for this suspicion whatsoever. Put yourself in her shoes, assuming they see her as a prisoner here. No, even more so, if they do, she deserves to be treated humanely. I always thought our men were a bit more noble-minded, but... Look, I understand this is a stressful line of work, but to make her the scapegoat...
You've got it wrong. Quiet? She's with Cypher. We have men that lost their buddies to her organization.
You could say that about more than just her. Plenty of the men used to fight for another side, but they've all put that aside to work for the boss.
Cypher is different. And if you ask me, the boss is the biggest problem. Why is he protecting her? Some of the guys are starting to suspect him of... I don't agree with keeping her here either.
So what's your move? Throw her out? Kill her? She's our ticket to Cypher, and her physical abilities are outstanding. We could use someone like her.
Don't make me sick.
Her marksmanship, speed, stealth capabilities for a start. Then, there are the other things we've learned. Quiet appears to be able to use both eyes as master eyes simultaneously. That lets her track targets of different focal lengths at once. While looking through the scope with one eye, she can look for new targets with the other. That's why she doesn't need a spotter. She can operate alone, no matter the circumstances.
See, I told you she's a freak. No one would be able to control her.
No, there's one person who could.
Hey, you trying to get the boss killed?
Well, why don't we talk to him? See if he's willing to take her along.
I don't like this.
It's his decision to make. The two of them might even make a good team.
Please select a landing zone. Heading to Afghanistan. Deploying. Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
That's the target. Talk.
Police and support helicopter
Roger.
requested.
КП-106, потерял противника. Ищу в последней точке соприкосновения. Прием. Это КП, понял. Будьте начеку и найдите противника. Конец связи. This is B-Quad. Arriving shortly at LZ.
Good dog. Good dog.
This is B-Quad. On station at LZ. Gaining altitude. Departing.
ops list updated. Please select a landing zone. Heading to Mother Base. Please select a mission. Unit dispatched. Please the landing zone.
Roger.
This is Pequod, on station at LZ.
refuses to wear clothes. The last staff member who tried to dress her, breathing through tubes. Other than that, she's completely cooperative. She understands English, but she never speaks, sweats, or breathes.
What?
Well, not with lungs, at least. She breathes through her skin. Clothing would suffocate her. Showers are okay, but she can't be submerged.
What's wrong with her?
She's drinking through her skin.
She's okay?
She's okay. She just can't move when she's taking in water. Look. See that? She hasn't eaten a thing since she got here.
She doesn't eat either?
Never. It's photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis. That's the verdict from the medical staff?
No, the jury's still out. It's the only explanation for what we've seen. The GRU had a man with that ability in its Cobra unit. Now, we don't think she's contagious. Some of the staff can't stomach her. It's starting to affect morale.
Can't you send her on a mission?
By herself? No. But as you know, she does have skill. Why not take her out on one of your missions? She seems to like you. Of course, only if you think she'll be useful. Next time you go out, you keep her in mind.
Side-ops completed. Lisa landing zone.
Roger.
confirmed.
Weather surveillance indicates turbulence out there. Try not to get knocked out of the sky. Got it.
Quiet. Where does she think she's going?
You want to head out with the boss?
That'll be the day.
I don't see a problem with it, so long as she's with you. She's a crack shot, damn fine scout. Well suited for a clandestine op. Which is more than I can say for the others.
There's nothing damn fine about this... thing.
Here.
Hey,
Blades.
wait a minute! That thing costs a lot of money!
Can see each individual blade and her depth perception.
one in? This is ridiculous. She doesn't talk. How could you possibly stay in communication?
Right. I like working solo anyway.
Looks like you've gotten used to working with Quiet. I don't see a problem with giving her some new weapons. I've already talked it over with the R&D team.
Unit function edit.
Being a scout sniper, there are two tasks you can give Quiet. The first is to infiltrate an outpost ahead of you and scout out the enemy's positions. The second is to send her to a sniping position and have her cover your infiltration. The kind of sniper support she'll provide will depend on the weapon you give her. Of course, this is all assuming she's willing to follow orders.
Please select a mission. Unit dispatched. Please select a mission. Mission accepted. Heading to Central Africa. Heading to Central Africa. Please specify a project. Please select a mission.